it's changed a lot, you know, especially now with the I guess the takeover stuff. People use a lot of VQs and Infinities and beat up 350Zs. And to me, that is like, those guys are not real car enthusiasts. They just use cars to do like dumb stuff.
Correct.
So like, we car enthusiasts, we don't be out there. We'll see and be like, oh, these damn idiots, you know, ruin it for everybody else.
What's up, guys? SOHO Podcast back again with another episode. We have Jrod with us today. Go ahead, Jrod, introduce yourself.
How you guys doing? My name is Jrod. I'm a car enthusiast, a Z enthusiast. I love Z cars, so that's why we're here.
Jrod's been a client of ours for how many years now?
I met the guys from SOHO back in like 2013, and ever since then, I've just been coming to the shop. If I'm not touching my car, it always comes here.
Yeah. Would you like to tell the people how you got into like the whole VQs?
Well, first of all, my first car was a 300ZX. It was an NA and automatic. I saw one at the mall when I was like 16, and I told my mom, I was like, damn, I need to know what car that is. So I went and looked at the back of it, wrote down the name, and then when I came home, I started looking them up, and I fell in love with that damn thing.
Yeah.
I had no idea all the issues they came from or that they had, you know. So like, my mom told me, she was like, save up half of the money, and then what we could do is I'll give you the other half, and then you could buy one. So that's what I did. I worked my ass off all summer, and then I bought my first car. I bought a 1994 300ZX.
The 300ZX, did you have that one for a long time, or did you switch over to the VQs pretty quickly?
So I had that one in New York because I'm originally from New York.
Oh, you're from New York?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
So I bought it up there in Jersey, and I had that car until I moved down. I bought the car in 2011, and then I moved down here 2013. So I had that car for about maybe 4 years before I got rid of it. I think I got rid of it maybe 2015 or late 2014. And I bought a G35 sedan. That's when I got introduced to the VQ. So that's how I met the guys at SOHO, because I needed some maintenance on it when I bought it.
Yeah.
And then from there, I was like, man, I really love the Zs. So the next upgrade was the 350Z. So I started looking for them. I knew I wanted a manual transmission one, but I didn't know how to drive manual.
Was your G35 was a...
It was a sedan
auto?
automatic, yeah.
So then what made you get the manual? Like,
I just wanted the driving experience, honestly. I always heard everybody, you know, like, oh, manual is better. You know, you always have more fun. And I like driving, like, you know, the mountains, back roads and stuff like that. So I figure, like, if I get a manual car, it'll be more fun. So I didn't do any mods to that G35. Probably, I think I called their intake. That was about it. I let my sister drive that one, and then I bought a 2004 350Z. It was a DE. And I went to pick that thing up all the way near Atlanta, and I didn't even know how to drive stick.
So it was a learning experience?
Boy, let me tell you, when I got there, I told the guy, I was like, listen, man, I never driven manual, but I know the concept of it. And so he was like, oh, it's fine, just take it easy. And we went for a test drive. Didn't install it on the test drive, nothing. But once I paid for the car and I was coming home, bro, the nerves set in, and I got stuck at a red light 4 times. Like the light turned green, red, green, red, green, red, green. And I was stuck there. And then my mom was with me in the car, and she was like, just relax. I was so nervous. My hands were shaking because I was like, oh shit, this shit is mine. If I fuck it up, now I need to fix the transmission. So then I got off from the light. I was trying to make it from Atlanta home with a 1/4 tank of gas. I did not want to stop. Once I got rolling, I was like, I ain't stopping. I'm just going to stop when I get home. So, yeah, that was my introduction to Z's. Good thing this, though, I never burned the clutch and never messed up the transmission on that car.
And it was factory clutch?
It was a factory clutch, yeah.
So with that one, you also did go boost. You ended up going boost eventually. But did you do any of like the NA stuff?
So I got an exhaust. I went to a shop and I think I bought a HKS muffler. So I bought a SKS muffler, and then I got like a single exhaust for the car made. After that, then I got the Z1 plenum spacer.
Mm-hmm.
And from there, I just enjoy the car then like that.
No tune? No tune or
No,
anything?
no tune.
Okay.
I was still a novice. I was like a little kid still. I hadn't learned as much as I know now then. So like I was just enjoying my car. I thought it was the hot shit, you know. Enjoying my Z. And then I wanted to make it clean, so I got like coilovers.
Mm-hmm.
I got wheels. I got the Nismo front bumper. I got a duck build like spoiler for it, and I got everything paint matched. And I mean, I always knew that the SOHO guys were here, and I always went when they went to the track, and when they had events, I always came out, and hung out with them. And they were hosting an event at CES because they used to use that dyno back when they were still at Pete's.
Yeah, when they first started.
Yeah, so we came to a dyno event that they were hosting over there with Johnny, and I think they're cousins, but Philip, really close friends with Nick, he gave me a ride on Nick's Z when it was like
the DE
350Z, yeah. So he gave me a ride in that thing, and after that day, I was like, "Yo, Nick, I need some boost." But obviously, I'm just working a 9 to 5. I was like, damn, what can I do to afford it? So I started looking into turbos. I looked at their kits. And as I was looking to see somebody was selling a used one, there was a lot of Momentum turbo kits at the time, like coming out. And Soho's kit was out too. There was a lot of the twin turbos. So I started doing more research and getting more like...
grasp on all the community's kits, essentially.
Yeah, so like it would... Back then, there was just like a handful of people making turbo kits. So then I learned about the Supercharger, and then it just so happens that one came up available like really cheap. The guy needed to sell it because he needed the money, so I was like, here you go. So I bought a Supercharger kit for $3,000.
Dang. And then with the Supercharger kit, because you said that you wanted to go turbo, do you think you just went with the Supercharger because it was like a good deal, essentially? You couldn't pass it up?
Yeah, it was hard to pass up.
Yeah.
So like I called Nick and I was like, dude, I love you guys' turbo kit, but the Supercharger kit came available for this price. He was like, bro, you need to grab that.
Yeah.
So then after talking to Nick and George, they told me, well, because I just bought the like the Supercharger, like the mounting and stuff and the piping and all that. But I didn't have a fuel pump. I didn't have injectors and none of that. So they told me what to get to go with it, and then what gauges to get for the car, like AEM gauges, AFR, and all that stuff. So then I got all of those, and then I dropped the car off to get tuned, to get the kit put on here and tuned. And it was probably one of the highest VQs that was making like 430 or 450 horsepower with the highest mileage, because my car had like 210,000 miles that I put on it.
And then you boosted it at 210?
I think 203K, sorry. 203K miles. It was boosted.
And
if you scroll down SOHO, you'll probably see my 350Z being boosted at 200,000 miles.
And how long did that last?
So I drove it for 50,000 miles. That was track. That was back
hard
roads.
miles.
That was driving to Pennsylvania. I was driving to the beach. It was my daily.
Yeah.
So I daily drove that and just beat on it. Never had an issue on it.
For the people that want to boost their car and daily it, do you have any like recommendations or like?
So in the sense of the Superchargers, I know now with the Ecotech you could put different maps. Drive your car in low boost unless you need to put it on kill mode. That's like, if you sprint, that's like if you're a sprinter or you're doing like a marathon, you're not freaking sprinting the whole way. You're jogging, and then when you need to speed up, you speed up, and then you go back to jogging so you can last.
Yeah, that's a good analogy.
So then the same thing for the engine, so like running on low boost, and if somebody comes to play around, that you be like, okay, I need a little more power, just switch the maps, and then hit it, and then put it back on low boost, and you get to enjoy your car for a long time.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. It's like essentially your longevity, you're
prolonging the
engine, correct. You're talking about after you got the Supercharger kit, you didn't have everything to boost it. What do you think are the key components that you need when going boost?
in my opinion, and from what I've learned, is you need obviously the supercharger or turbo kit. Then you're gonna need injectors and fuel pump. Recommend to get an AFR gauge because that'll save you a lot. Boost gauge is optional because if you got a supercharger, you just run by a pulley, so you're not gonna over boost. But if you got like a turbo car, recommend get a boost gauge to see if the car is over boosting or anything like that. And then a good tuner. So that would be
the essentials right there.
Yeah, supercharger or turbo kit, fuel pump, injectors, AFR or boost gauge, and a good tune.
So after you did all that, and then you got the car tuned, and you were enjoying it.
So then, I was doing better, obviously, like with work and stuff like that. So I was like, let me put the supercharger for sale and get a turbo kit, because I was looking into building my motor. And I saw the supercharger, great, somebody bought it right away. And then I was gonna save up a little more to drop the car off to get the motor build and put the turbo kit on it so I could make more power. And then, sorry, excuse me. And then I got a retuned NA, and that's when the ARC stuff came out from UpRev that everybody was like flame throwing in the back. Okay, so I got the car retuned. It made like 480 something horsepower NA, and I got that done. And literally on the way home, I burned my my O2 sensors. I drove from here, I just roasted them. Like my car started misfiring right away. I was like, dude, what the heck is going on? So then I took the ECU back and brought it to Nick to see if he could turn it down some, because the car I couldn't drive it. It started going into limp mode, and it was like the O2 sensor. So then we bypassed it because I live in South Carolina. I don't need an inspection. So I went to Z1, ordered the damn like bun plugs, and took off the O2 sensors. And then the car was fine. And a couple weeks later, it jumped timing because I kept doing the damn trying to throw flames on the pop tune and shit like that.
Yeah, and that was with what, like 250K at this point?
At this point, it was probably like 265,000 miles. But that's 265,000 miles of...
Is that original motor?
Original motor.
And did you ever do gallery gaskets?
On the DE?
Yeah.
No.
I
don't think DEs have gallery gasket issues. I know the UpRev, they burn oil. And then the HR, obviously, since they go to the internal slave, it's just a slave cylinder, and they have to do gallery gaskets. But the DEs are pretty strong.
Okay.
Some people have bad luck, but I didn't have bad luck. I beat the living hell out of that damn thing.
So then, let's switch over to your 370. So after you acquired your 370, you went ahead and you skipped. You went straight to boost, no NA stuff.
So, to give you a little more context on it, so when I blew up the 350Z, the motor went. I had the money to try to go build motor for it, but then talking to the guys here at SOHO, I was like, I just want to make like 650 somewhere around there. They were like, Jay, you should really start looking into a 370Z. Plus, Ecotech is great, and so I did start looking more into it. And then I saw what they were doing with the platform with the Fast Intentions twin turbo kit when they first had it. And I was like, man, that's really achievable and pretty, like, it looks like it to be a couple $1,000s cheaper.
It was a very simple setup, you would say?
Yeah. So I paid for my turbo kit and then looked for my 370Z.
So you bought the turbo kit and then bought the car.
And then bought the car because I was looking for like 3 or 4 different colors. So, now I got the black cherry one. I was also looking for like that deep blue color that they have is like a royal blue, and like that burnt orange. For some reason, I really like the color, and a yellow one because you never see yellow 370Zs, as we were talking off the camera. So those were the 4 colors that I was looking for, because you always see a white one, red one, and a bunch of different variations of like silver and gray. So then I was like, I don't want a Z like everybody else. So yeah, then it took me 6 months to find my Z. So I got it, brought it here to get it inspected, like to do a once over. And then, I bought my exhaust first. So it was ready, and I picked it up and put it on the car. So that's the only NA thing I did to the car. I put the Catback exhaust.
You just wanted a little bit more sound?
Mm-hmm.
And how? What made you go with our single exit?
I previously had it on my 350Z when it was supercharged, so I mean I knew what it was.
Yeah.
And I love the sound, so I was like, might as well.
Yeah.
You know. And then you guys ordered my coilovers, and that came in, so I installed those. And when the kit was done, I just came and dropped the car off. You guys also ordered me a Nismo front bumper.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
Mm-hmm. So it was the Nismo bumpers, R888s, and then everything else with the turbo kits that come with it, and the gauges.
Talking about the R888s, a lot of people that go boost, I see in the community put like the huge like drag tire on the rear. You have both. You did the R888s and the drag wheels. What do you recommend to people? Is it the drag wheel unnecessary need?
Okay, so a lot of people, I get this question a lot. So first off, R888s are great, but the problem is you could still slide your car. So if you're coming out of the corner and you punch your first or second gear, you drifting that mug, you know?
Yeah.
They wear out pretty fast.
Yeah.
You do that a couple of times, you're not gonna have any tires left. So R888s, great tire, very sticky. If you don't do that stuff, they will last you, and they cost like $1,000 for two. Now the Mickey Thompsons, since I got the 15s, I only been through 2 sets of tires and I daily my car. Once when they spit, they hook. Well, I mean when they spin, they get hot, they hook. You're not doing all this stupid stuff, you know, trying to slide your car because you're gonna crash.
Yeah.
Wherever your car is pointing, when you finish that slide, it's going. So that saves you from being ignorant, I guess, and doing like a bunch of like burnouts and trying to slide your car everywhere.
Correct. So with a single, you have the stage 2.5, our old stage 2.5, correct?
Yeah.
So with the stage 2.5 can you give us a comparison? Because you've already gone supercharged versus single turbo. What's the big difference? What's the game changer for you?
The top end, if I had to say the biggest difference is obviously with turbo, you know, runs out of the exhaust fumes. And then the supercharger, you just, you know, is obviously the crank with the belt.
How's the drivability versus both?
The way Nick tuned my car is pretty similar, honestly. I feel like my 350Z used to try to kill me more because it weighed 2,700 pounds.
Yeah.
So it was a lot lighter, you know, and I didn't have a stickier tire. I used to just buy, you know, like obvious beefier tires, but like I said, I wasn't as like knowledgeable. Yeah, at the time. So I didn't know they made like such a sticky tire. But yeah, so I would say the biggest difference is just a lot of top end and easier to make power, in my opinion.
And when you dailied our single turbo with the stage 2.5, how was that? Was it harder than dailing a normal car? Obviously, it's modified, so you do have a lot more sound and stuff. But drivability wise, day-to-day task, was there anything that was like inconvenient to you?
Other than being at the gas pump every other day.
But other than that,
Other than that, no. I have never had a tuning issue.
Yeah.
I was literally talking about this like in my blog because I was vlogging on the way here. And I was like, man, thinking about it, I've never had a tuning issues, you know, with the car. It's just always been like if I break something, you know. We went to the mountains for Z-Days. I took a turn too hard and then blew a freaking coupler, blew a whole throw coupler, like stuff like that.
Yeah.
But that was about it because the car just, you know, bottomed out when I came around the turn and hit a bump. But that's been about the only issue that I've ever had with the car.
So how long have you been, you said, what, like 6 years in the VQ community? Or
2015?
2015.
Yes, it's 2015.
So it's been a while. What is your like outlook on the community?
It's changed a lot, you know, especially now with I guess the takeover stuff. People use a lot of VQs and Infinities and beat up 350Zs. And to me, that is like, those guys are not real car enthusiasts. They just use cars to do like dumb stuff.
Correct.
So like, we car enthusiasts, we don't be out there. We'll see and be like, these damn idiots, you know, ruin it for everybody else. But now the thing is, like, everybody's competing for the damn 60 to 130, like draggy BS, you know?
Yeah.
And to me, that's like, okay, bro, your car could go quick 60 to 130, but then you got a Lamborghini that do 60 to freaking 200 in like 2 seconds.
Yeah.
Or a GTR. So are you really that fast?
Yeah.
So like, enjoy the platform for what it is, in my opinion. If you have a fast VQ making 8 to 1,000 horsepower, that's awesome. You're putting on for everybody else, you know. So just enjoy the platform for what it is. And if you beat a different car making the same horsepower, cool. Don't have 900 or 800 horsepower trying to race somebody that has like 600 or 500 horsepower. You're gonna look really dumb. So I think that's what I have to say about it. Like, I mean,
do you think more people can push the platform by racing other cars than rather than like VQ on VQ crime, essentially?
Yeah, I believe so. Yeah,
because I think that would help push the platform in the direction that it needs to be able to grow this platform bigger.
Yes. Well, to talk about, like, example for the new BMWs, crazy how easy it is for them to make power, but you don't see them like, oh, I have the fastest BMW and the United. Yeah, some guys do, because they, like, for example, this guy like One Stock from New York. One of the fastest BMW out there. But what people don't see, the normal people, is like, okay, bro, he got a built trans, he got a built motor, upgraded turbos, and then he got all this stuff that goes, and the money that you have to spend, you know, to get to that level. And people like little kids that are 19, 18, oh, I just want to be fast, I want to have, you know, a BMW. Like, great, but you're not gonna get to that point because you don't have that money to make it there. Yeah,
cause it at the end of the day, it is a money thing. Yeah. You gotta pay to play.
Yeah, you're just as fast, as deep as your pockets.
Yeah, a lot of people do make it seem like it's a lot easier and it's a lot cheaper to do certain things, but in all reality, that stuff adds up pretty quick. And I think that's one thing that is very overlooked, or people try to cheap out on certain things, but if you're cheaping out on it, you're gonna do it twice.
Yeah. So, like, when it comes to building a motor, you could have anybody build a motor. Anything could happen. So you build the motor and it fails. You think it's because the shop that built it, or you think just it's motorsport. Anything can happen. You could build.
It's performance at the end of the day.
Yeah, as a racing like thing. Like, you know, okay, for example, let's say Michael Jordan, right? Greatest basketball player all the time. He could have a bad day. People always talks about all the shot he makes, but nobody talks about the, you know, like thousands of shots that he missed.
Correct.
So they just like look on like the one positive thing, and then if enough people grab the negative, they're just gonna run with it, and it's just gonna get away from you, and you just gotta be like, okay, whatever. Yeah. You guys think what you gotta think and say what you gotta say. At the end of the day, I'm still doing okay. I'm, you know, doing my business or whatever it is.
Yeah. So I got another question for you. Since you've known SOHO for a while, can you give an outlook on like just customer service and like stuff that we've like done with your car, like experience wise?
So experience wise, you guys,
for anyone like thinking about coming here,
I mean, just do like, how should I put this that makes sense? Because it makes sense in my head. I'm trying to say it's like it makes sense like in my words. Sometimes my brain goes a lot faster than what my mouth does. No, you guys are great. You know, I never had an issue with it. I always, you know, like I told you earlier, if I'm not touching my car, I bring it to this shop. I hate people that not hate or dislike, you know, people that go from this shop, we'll go to the next shop, we'll go to the next shop and the next shop. At the end of the day, something goes wrong with your car, you've been through like 5 different people. So
yeah, the more hands that can touch a car, the more things that can go wrong.
You don't know like who did what where, you know. So like if you, let's say you keep coming here, or you keep going, let's say to X, Y, you know, shop A, you go to shop A all the time. It's you and shop A. You know, between you two, if you didn't do it, something happened over there. Or if they didn't do it, then you did something wrong. And then it all goes a long way of like building a relationship with something like, you know, with a shop. So if you build that relationship, you guys become friends after being customers, and then it just makes the experience a lot easier to deal with. Because when I met them, yeah, obviously I'm from New York. I don't know anybody down here. So I became friends and then just kept coming around. Even though at first I didn't do much business with them. Then I started doing business with them. I liked the way they did everything. And then ever since then, it's just been like a great friendship, you know. And then it makes it easier for you to spend your money because obviously being into cars is not cheap.
Yeah.
So
it's not. So talking about that, let's talk about like pretty much like a breakdown of what it takes to get to the power level that you're at.
So for my car, I did you guys' previously like 2.5 single turbo kit.
Mm-hmm.
And then bigger fuel pump, bigger injectors. And we use boosting to like up the octane of the 93. And it made 630 horsepower, 480 pounds of torque, I think. And I drove that for, when was it? Since 2020?
Yeah, about.
So that motor, the original motor that came in my car, but had 100,000 miles. I put 35,000 miles on that kit because I always daily my cars for some reason. I don't know why, but I daily my Z and
And those are hard miles too.
Yes, that was a lot of track, a lot of mountains.
Racing.
Yeah, going everywhere in it. So the reason, like, I swapped the motor. So the motor didn't like fully fail. So I noticed I was getting a lot of blow by. And after talking to the guys here, they said it was a known problem that the ring lands like to crack. And I'm OCD. So like when I saw like a little bit of smoke, I was like, God, this is so annoying. And to me, it felt embarrassing. You know, who wants to drive a car that's smoking? So I started looking for a new motor. I found a motor with 30,000 miles. And after, you know, talking to you guys, then I decided to like swap it myself and learn, which I did the swap. And then I got the car running. Everything was great. And then my map sensor failed. And it started dumping a bunch of fuel into the car. So that fried my throttle bodies. I think my other injectors went bad. Spark plugs went. It just killed a bunch of sensors because the car was just taking on too much fuel. So then I swapped everything, got everything new, and then I got the car retuned, and it's been running great. And the reason I'm here today is because we're doing E85 finally.
So you're wanting to push it even more now.
Yeah.
So what made you go E? You just want more power gains? It's more accessible?
The accessibility of E85, no, it's actually technically a pain in the butt because it's like 45 minutes to an hour from my house.
Oh, really?
Yeah. But running E, obviously, better fuel, less chances of detonation, you know, so that's
it's just a lot safer.
A lot safer for the motor. Even if, let's say, I were to stay at 650, which that's only 20 horsepower gain, I'll be happy with it because the car obviously is going to be running a lot better than we're running, like, you know, running into knock, running 93. That's why we ran the boost thing to lower that chance of the motor started knocking before, you know, I needed to. So now with E, I don't have to run boost thing. I just run E and it should be okay.
Any future plans for the 370?
So the motor that I pulled out is still on my house on a motor stand. So my wife and I recently got married.
Congratulations, by the way.
Thank you. We planning to buy a house, so we're in the process of doing that now. Once I buy the house, then, you know, I don't want to do it at the garage that I have now because it's a one-car garage at an apartment complex. There's not a lot of space. I was honestly surprised that I was able to swap my motor in there. So I did my motor swap on jack stands.
Yeah.
So since there's not that much space, you know, obviously when you're doing motor work, when it comes to that extent, I guess you want as clean of a, you know, area as possible. Correct. So the motor don't get contaminated or something gets stuck, like some like dirt or whatever.
Correct.
That you don't see with the eye, but it'll get stuck in the motor.
You want a very clean work area too.
So that's my main reason as to why I didn't decide to try to do that yet. Is because I want the highest chances as possible to everything go correctly. And I guess the more space wouldn't hurt.
Yeah. Well.
But, go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, I mean, like, so with that motor, it's just going to be like a simple build. So like pistons and rods, ARP head studs, and I don't know, very like a stage 1 that you guys offer.
So like basically a stage 1. And you're doing it as like so you can like learn essentially.
So I could learn.
You do a lot of like you bring us the car, but majority of the time you do a lot of like your own stuff too as well.
Yeah.
Is that just to learn like more on the platform too?
Yeah.
Because you make content too.
Yeah, because to me, like, knowledge is power.
Correct.
You know? So, like, obviously, I'm always calling and talking to Nick and some of the guys from here, you know, asking questions if I need some help.
Mm-hmm.
But obviously, if I do something wrong and I'm representing this shop, it's going to look bad on them. Mm-hmm. So, like, I try to get as much knowledge as possible of doing something, so like that I don't make you guys look bad or make myself look bad. Because, you know, it's like we were talking about everybody competing and pointing fingers like, oh, this shop did that, this shop did this, but people don't be like, oh no, but I touched my car in my house, it wasn't the shop.
Yeah, that is true.
So that's why I try to get as much knowledge as I can in order to do something correctly.
So whenever you swap the motor, you obviously had to take off the turbo kit and reinstall it. I believe we installed it the first time. So how was it installing it on your own this time?
Honestly, it was pretty easy. I was very concerned at first.
Yeah.
I always been the type of person, if I could take it apart, I could put it back together. So like obviously I'm recording everything also, so I could put it on YouTube. But at the same time, I'm also paying attention to what I took off from where things go. And it also it doesn't hurt to get like the painter's tape, the blue one. And let's say like you get a hose, just wrap it around the hose, leaving off a little bit of slack like on the tape, and then just write what it is.
Yeah. Like label like everything.
Yeah. There you go. That was the word I was looking for. Like label everything. And then a good point for me was if I took a bolt somewhere, let's say to like the strut tower, right? The strut tower got to come off. Don't lose the bolts. Just put them back where they go. And then when you see the bolts there, you're like, oh crap, I need to put this back where it needs to be. You know, that's what I did. I put everything back kind of like where it went.
So do you think if someone's like mechanically inclined, they're able to install the kit? Because I know that's a lot of things that people will worry about is, can I, like if they buy the kit, can I install this?
Yes, it was my first time doing the motor swap. First time installing the turbo kit, like taking it off and putting it back on. It was my first time for everything. I've never taken an engine out of a car before, and it was like, it was a piece of cake. It was a learning curve. It was like a piece of cake. In the scale of 1 to 10 of difficulty, you probably like maybe between a 4 or 5.
Dang. So
it's like common sense, and I know you guys. Since you guys give people pamphlets, right, with instructions of what to do. Just follow the pictures because
the manual, which honestly are available on the website now too.
Oh, really?
So you can look at pretty much the manual before you purchase something. So if you're concerned on trying to be able to like fit stuff up, you can just look at it.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't have to cut anything. I didn't have to.
No special tools.
No special tools.
So just whatever was in your garage, you were able to do everything.
And I had a little toolbox just with a couple little wrenches, and that's it.
Yeah.
It was very easy to install.
So the install process was pretty straightforward.
It really was, yeah. I enjoyed it. The only thing that, obviously if you wrap your car in the
heat wrap. Boy,
that thing is itchy. That's my only complaint about like putting it on.
Yeah. But other than that, it was pretty straightforward.
Yeah, because when I was doing it, I was just like into it. I forgot to put gloves on, so that was my dumb mistake. So then when I got home that night, I was like, man, my hands are freaking like itchy as hell.
Because it has fiberglass.
The fiberglass, that was
It's not fun.
I learned from that the very next day. Next day it was gloves. Like I had to put 2 gloves on because my big old hands, when I try to get somewhere, like it'll get stuck and pinch the glove off, and then I ripped the glove by mistake.
And you were able to install the kit on jack stands?
Yeah, the whole swap, everything was done on jack stands.
That's impressive.
Yeah.
The motor swap alone and doing a turbo kit on top of that's impressive.
Yeah. It took me, so when I was doing the swap and installing everything, like about a week, but that's, I'd say a week, like time, but I was only going out to the garage because it was kind of like in November. And it gets dark like very fast, so I'll go out. Yeah, so I'll go out to the garage like at 12. When the weather like kind of felt decent, and then that gave me like 3 or 4 hours of like light since I had to work with the garage door open. Or if it was one day it started raining on me when I was pulling the motor out, I had to put everything back in and go home. I couldn't do anything.
Yeah,
because the car is just as big as the garage. It's a 1-car garage in an apartment complex. So It took me like about a week to do. And then...
A week start to finish?
Yeah. And so pulling the motor was pretty easy. Taking everything off, it was pretty simple. Just,
Pretty straightforward.
I enjoyed it. It was fun. Would I do it again? Yeah. I mean, if I needed to.
Yeah.
But it was pretty simple. And then the one thing I did have to like call and ask is what to do to start the car to prime the system. This is one key thing that people don't like. Don't plug your what's it called? Don't plug your fuel pump in. And there's a starting procedure, so you could get oil through the turbo
to prime the turbo,
to prime the system and everything. Because if not, you don't want to start your turbo dry.
Yeah,
you're gonna mess your stuff up.
Yeah.
So I did the procedure, then I plugged the fuel pump, and the car started right up first try.
And then after that, just retune, and you were good.
Well, after that, then I just drove the car for a little while, and then the map sensor failed.
Okay.
And I brought the car here, and we were able to swap it out, and the other stuff came up that it was wrong, So then I had, because I use all my old like manifolds and stuff like that, so I still had everything that I took off the new motor. I had it sitting at home, so I just got the car towed home, and then I did everything, and then made an appointment to get it retuned. And then ever since, I've been driving the car now for like a year since the motor swap.
Dang. How many miles have you put on it since?
On this motor, 12,000.
12,000
in a year, yeah.
And then now you're going E.
Yeah. So the motor, I bought the motor with 30,000 miles, and now it has like 42,000. So, and it was a 2015 from a Q50, like NA from the 3.7.
Are those motors like I know it's like a certain year. I can't come. Don't have it in mind right now. It's like a 14 or 15 and up motors.
15 and up motors got the newer upgraded oil gallery gaskets.
Oh, okay.
Also, there's different type of. So this is a thing I learned. There was a lot of different type of VR motors that you could buy, because the Qs, they come all-wheel drive.
Yeah.
So that was a thing that I had to look out for, because I had no idea. And those motors are a lot cheaper than just buying a regular VQ from a 370Z.
Really?
Yeah.
You have to swap over the lower oil pan?
Yes, I did too, because I had to put the sandwich plate for the return from the turbo. But like you have to, like the all-wheel drive, you have to swap the upper oil pan.
Yeah.
To your old one, and hopefully you haven't blown a hole through the block at that point, because then it will be toast. But yeah, but you could use an all-wheel drive motor. You just got to swap the pan and stuff, yeah. And then if it's automatic, you got to swap out the throttle bearing.
Correct.
So it was a learning experience. It was pretty fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, I liked it.
Yeah. Well, thanks for having you on. If you want to go ahead and shout out your podcast too, because you have your own podcast. Yeah,
so the podcast is called What's Your Drive podcast. Is on YouTube. I made an Instagram for it also, but my personal Instagram is J_Rod Z34. You guys can check me out there.
Yeah. Make sure to go follow Jrod. You're always posting content, which is a good thing. We'll see you guys on the next pod.